Well, you know, I think Pinter, Beckett, also the John Osborne and the writers, with Albee, you know, this whole kind of generation, and also the screwball comedies in Hollywood. Good writing for characters who are complex, who are individual, and who are, let's say, struggling in their personal lives and in society as a whole. So Pinter's work specifically always has that atmosphere of ambiguity. Nothing is oversimplified. You always feel, oh my God, there's this complexity in human experience that is so rich. Well, they're just interesting human beings, you know, like all the women I know. They're great, and they're complicated, and they're struggling with things just in the same way as the men are. And I think when you write a script that is more or less 50-50 male-female, I think this is one slightly more female than male, but you get a much richer environment if, especially with characters like these who've clearly lived a little bit. You know, they have experience, they have wounds, they've been hurt, and so are the men as well. So they're all in it together in that way. But I think the women that I write and the women that I work with, they're simply really, really interesting, complex human beings. They're not reduced to a stereotype or one sliver of age or look or type or something. So it's an accurate reflection of what I see in the society around me. Well, whenever I make these aesthetic choices, because it is an aesthetic choice, it's because it feels like the best way to tell this story. And I felt that this story needed to be black and white, like a skeleton, you know? We're looking at the bones of people's lives, the most difficult, the most essential part of what they're struggling with. So somehow it makes sense to see it in black and white. It makes it more intense. Well, I wrote it as a film, really, really, really as a film, imagining, you know, this intimate camera and all these movements through the spaces and this intensely physical relationship with the face, but also with the whole body. So I thought of it as cinema, very much. But when people saw it, I've had so many people say to me, it could be a play, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so now I'm thinking maybe that's interesting. Usually it's the other way around. A play is adapted into a film. But maybe this time it starts as a film and then it has a lot of different lives as a play. Maybe. We'll see. Really enjoyable. Obviously it was a big technical challenge to shoot in 2 weeks. It was a very short shoot, but to do that I worked individually with each actor first in some depth, just one-on-one and privately. So by the time we came together, each person, I already knew them, they knew me, so they trusted me a lot, and also they knew their own character very well. Everything had a reason, so we didn't waste any time on the set like, oh, why am I saying this or that, you know. All of that was already dealt with before. And then after that it's really creating an atmosphere in which actors who are this good feel creative and free within the precision of the text, because not a word was changed. They're absolutely precise with the text, but they're physically very free, very expressive, using their bodies, using their faces, so they felt themselves really being used, you know, which they love. I don't see it that way, you know. Sometimes somebody can be difficult for a few minutes, but there's always a good reason for it. It's because they're trying to give a better performance. So if somebody's difficult, I welcome it. I'm not afraid. So for me, it's not difficult. It's just a process. It's a creative process with actors. Well, first of all, he's so funny. In life, you know, when we're sitting together just talking, he's continuously offering up things which make you laugh. He's very modest, and he's done a lot of very interesting things over the years. I think he's somebody with great tenderness in him, you know, vulnerability, and because of the way he looks, you know, he's not a stereotype look. So you look at him and you kind of love him, you know, because there's a vulnerability in his face. So it's a great pleasure to work with him. Well, in the end, it's an intuitive decision. You hope that this particular actor will embody this role which you've written, and then you try and imagine how will they combine with the other actors. You know, will it be, you know, will the chemistry work and stuff like that. So it's a kind of guessing, and then seeing. But they're all extremely good. I mean, that's what unites them. They've already done a fantastic level of work, and they're all also ready to go further. You know, they don't feel they're not actors who've stopped at a certain point and repeating themselves. They're people who really want to explore something new. So they were very good